Close to us, close to right. I'm
Yeah.
in the Brampton area, so that's very close. Awesome.
Oh, okay.
Love to learn more about what your goals are for 2025 and how we can help you achieve them. Anyone else?
Hi, my name is Andrea.
Ariane?
Hi, Andrea. So I'm
Oh, turn up your volume. I can't hear you.
hello, can you hear me?
Yes. Now I can hear you.
Okay, I'm joining from Ottawa, and you
Huh?
can never learn too much about credit. I thought I knew about credit, but Andrea said, no, no, no. There's more you need to know.
Well,
So,
because it's not just about fixing it, right? But it's how to use it and how to help you to build wealth and
mhm,
to build your financial, make you more financially savvy. So awesome.
yeah,
Thank you for joining.
of course. Thank you for having me.
Yeah. Anyone else that wants to share where they're from and their number one goal or a reason for joining tonight? You can type in the chat if you're not wanting to, unmute and speak. We'd just love to hear from you. No? Well, I know that my reason for sharing with you this, first of all, I'm in the Brampton area, Toronto area of Canada, and my focus this year is to continue to provide opportunities like this where it's free so that you can keep learning and building your knowledge. But the reason I chose credit as a topic tonight is because no matter where you are in your journey, if you're just starting out or if you are well established, knowing and understanding your credit is such an important part of your adult life. To me, I truly believe it is your adult report card. It's how every business, institution, and many aspects of your life, it's exactly how they, look at you and determine whether, they're going to lend to you, work with you, and you're gonna see what we mean by that. Tell me some of the reasons you've had to use your credit in the past. What's one or two reasons that you have had to use your credit? I mean, I've used it so many times in my career, why I think it's such a key and foundational piece that I cannot have these webinars and not cover credit. Any reason? Type it in the chat. Let me see. Where is the chat tonight? There, let's see. What are some reasons? I don't even see anyone saying where they're from.
So when you say like ways you've used credit in the past, like in terms of like needing to buy a house.
Yes, I
Okay.
bought many homes and properties in my lifetime. And for every single time, even before I buy, they want my credit and
Right.
they want to pull my report. Excellent.
Also getting a credit card, they always check credit in order to get a credit card.
Mm-hmm. For sure. If you want a lender or an institution to provide you a card, whether it be a department store or Master, Visa, American Express, whatever it is, you better bet they're going to pull your report and check your score. Excellent. I want to just look at potentially changing my mobile provider just because I was looking at options to upgrade my phone or get additional features. And right away, that's one of the things that they want to do is they want to pull my credit. And I said, stop, let's think about that. What kind of pull are you going to make? And he's like, Andrea, I have to be honest with you. It will be a hard pull. And I said, absolutely not. In fact, I said, okay, hold on a minute. And I went on to my site, checked it, and I was like, in the last month alone, my score had a massive hit, 74 points. And I haven't done anything that I can think of, like in terms of searching for credit or shopping around or any of that. So I said to him, no, no go. It was Bell. And I said, I'm okay. I'll pass. I'll hold on to the old phone. It can keep, because the iPhones, once it gets to, 2+ years, it starts to act up. Right. And I said, I'll just keep it. Thank you. So even for something as simple as your mobile phone, they're going to pull right? And I went to my typical provider, like the one that I'm with right now, Rogers, and asked, if I wanted to upgrade or if I want it to change or do anything, will you be doing a credit check? And they said no. And I was like, oh, okay. Can we just review my plan? Because these are good things to do, to review your plan to see. And do you know that I realized that what Bell was going to offer me wasn't even better than what I had at Rogers? And so good thing I did no, let's stop and let me look at my report and see whether this is something that I really want to do. So definitely, and a hard hit can mean, 15, 20 points, right? So you just don't want to be frivolous with how you use credit or how you access and allow others to access your report. So we're gonna, sorry, go ahead.
What would cause a hard hit?
Pretty much anything that they do a pull for, and like it's a full pull. So for example, the mobile phone, if you're trying to go to a new provider, they'll do a hard pull. A lender that is looking to offer you and lend financing such as mortgage, a loan, student car, whatever business, they're going to do a hard pull. And so the hard is what always kind of, first of all, it shows up as a hard pull on your score, but it also brings your score down. It shows up on your report. And really, for every inquiry that you have that's hard, it's visible to not just you and the bureau, but any other lender that's looking at it as well. And so they can see whether you're a shopper or you're, always in search of credit. And it's not always a good look, right? To have that. So you just have to be wary of that, especially if you plan in the upcoming months or years to look for financing for a home. You definitely want to reduce the amount of increase that you have on your credit. A soft is usually really nothing major. It doesn't really affect your score. It's just like someone going in and browsing. They're not necessarily pulling your report and taking it down, where even if you do a pull, like if you go in and request it, it does not have the impact that a lender and or creditor or any other third party will have. So you can do the pull. So oftentimes, recently, I'm shopping again for mortgages soon and rates and so on. Renewals are coming up. And so I say to them, and I let them know up front, I'm not interested in allowing you to do a pull until I'm ready to pursue credit for and to say do business. Sometimes you're just shopping, right? And shopping, I like to use my eyes. Lenders don't want to just simply look at your stuff. They want to also know whether it's worth their time to look at your application. And in doing that, and just know in completing an application, by virtue of completing it, you've actually signed and authorized them to pull. So
I was going to ask you that. How is it? Do you know each time that, you've given
as soon as you
permission?
sign, it's in the fine print. So that's another reason why you want to give yourself that know already yourself and let them know that that you're not ready to authorize that. And maybe you're just not signing the application, or you're giving them an indication. Sometimes I fill out the application, and because it's a online application, I just put in the notes, please do not pull my credit report until I'm ready to pursue and move forward, right? Because I don't want to authorize a pull every time. Okay. So really important, but still, I don't know where some of you are coming from, other than I know, Martine, you're in the Mississauga area and Ariane is in Ottawa. So just throw it in the chat so that I know where we're coming from. And maybe even, as I said, that goal. We're going to get started. The title, I think, is really fitting because I want you to understand that credit is not just about fixing and repairing. Many of us have good credit, and not just we have a great score, but good credit and a great score doesn't always equate to getting lending and loans. And so that's why we're here tonight. I want to help you understand what things you can do to build that credit, to build that history so that you can build your financial future using your credit properly. Because I know that I have young people that have great high scores and they can't get lending and they can't get credit, or someone just starting out their work life with credit, and they're trying to get a mortgage and they don't get approved, even though they have like a 800 credit score. And we're going to talk about how you can build that. And you could be even 50 and have a great score and a great report, but you're not credit worthy. And so that's also an important aspect. And we want to talk about how you can prepare yourself. So I do feel it's very important to empower yourself so that you can achieve financial freedom using your strong credit. Because I think having great credit is very important, but lenders don't just give you credit or give you loans and access to financing just by having a great credit score. They're looking for a number of things. So the focus tonight, and by the way, if I didn't say, if you're just joining or you're coming on after, welcome and thank you for joining us. It's really, really great to have you here, especially because I know you're giving up your evening to spend some time with me, to learn more, and to help yourself along your financial journey. So thank you. I appreciate that. And, pat on the back to those of you that showed up on time and showed up, because we do encourage people to register. And if you can't show up for whatever reasons, I know today was voting, but most of us were able to do that through the course of the day. So, to show up is really important, because then you can ask your questions, you can hear it firsthand. But if you're not able to make it and you register, I always provide you the replay. So, and plus this replay is great so that you can go back to it and use it as a tool to help you additionally, because sometimes you're hearing it and it's not all getting registered, and having the replay gives you an opportunity to review some of the salient things for yourself that you can utilize. So we're going to talk about why credit matters, what makes up your score. And there are 5 key areas on that. So it's really important to understand those and how you can impact those 5 areas. We're going to talk about how to build credit, how to monitor it, how to fix it, because even when you think that all is good, I didn't do anything, I haven't done anything, things happen. And I'll share some of those stories with you later. We're going to talk about how to fix those errors and those mistakes that occur, how to build not just credit for yourself personally, but how to build it as a business. Because I started off, obviously, just building it as a person, and I started off as a school teacher. So I never thought about, the importance of credit with respect to business. But as I got into, building my own business and building this business of, investing in real estate and working with clients, I realized how important it was to also build business credit, and so that I can have not just credit for myself personally, but for my company or companies. So really important. If you're not in this, field of business or ownership, owning a company, that's okay. You can still benefit from understanding it, because you never know in your career or your life where you'll decide to switch gears and pivot into something different of your own. We'll talk about some client success stories, and also some experts sharing their opinions of the importance of credit. We have a realtor and a business owner, and then we'll just talk about why good credit matters, and what doors it can open for you, and then next steps. So let's get started. So before we start, I do want to just share with you what I do in terms of a company. I built a number of companies, and one of them is PW Wealth, where we've always been focused on investing and building wealth through real estate, and now building that through just doing financial literacy, financial education. And so I've always done that with my other company, Keen Real Estate Group, which our focus was largely helping people to coach them to buying and investing in real estate and owning real estate, whether passive or active. But, I've decided, instead of just simply focusing on real estate, we'll focus on any aspect of finances, from investing to mortgages to credit. And so that's why I'm showing you here that we have a number of services. So depending on what you're looking to do in terms of building your financial strength, your financial house, we can probably help you to get that done. Okay, so the webinars we host, they're free. They give you an opportunity every month to plug into learning something that may be very relevant to you, or maybe something that you'll need in the near term. Then tonight we're focusing on credit, and I've always focused on credit because it's always been a really essential part of my life in terms of a personal side to the business side. And I'm sure that's the case for you as well. When we've tenanted properties for owners, or we've helped clients find a property, they need to have their credit also as a significant part of the process to get approved or get the opportunity to rent a property. So it's not just getting a home or getting loans. It's even for something as simple as getting a property that you want to rent. Investing solutions. We can do investing from locally here to across Canada to international, and we're talking about real estate investments to investing in different types of passive investments. I've done it myself, so I help clients to also look for those opportunities. We're in the DR, in Costa Rica, in the US, and I have access to clients and partnerships and experts that can bring you pretty much most parts of the Caribbean and the US. We're working on getting into other parts. I am in Central America through Costa Rica, but that's pretty much it right now. I've got a couple other people that are looking in places like Panama, but I'm not there yet. But we can always help you connect with experts in most parts of the world. And so investing solutions from even registered retirements, such as tax-free savings and RESPs, we can do any of that, or I can lead you to experts that can help you. And of course, an important part of real estate investing was always mortgages. And so one of the brokers that I've been working with for years, he recently asked me if I would consider working with him more. And I said, absolutely. It's not something I would have thought of before, but because we're already partnered and doing a lot of work together, why not? I'll help with mortgage solutions as well. My clients often need it. And so we can help you find the best mortgage options and solutions, whether you're doing renewal, refinancing, or getting something brand new. Okay, so that's my spiel about what we offer. But let's talk about why credit matters, and on a scale of 1 to 10, how important is credit to your financial goals, especially your financial goals this year? Again, I would love if you would put in the chat, but if you're willing to open up and unmute and speak, I'm happy to hear. Anyone on, is it a 1, a 10? 1 being it's not that important because maybe my goals aren't needing, my credit this year. Or is it 10 where absolutely, I'm going to be looking to get qualified or do something to get credit with a bank or an institution, or get, I don't know, a rental. You're maybe shopping around for a new place. Anyone?
I would say 10 for me as well.
Me too. Anyone else? I mean, I'm looking, I've been waiting. I bought a property, a 5-plex, about a year ago. And, I was going to close last May, then it was going to be June, then it was going to be July, then it was October, and then he said November. And now I'm like, I have no idea when this property is going to close. So, but I know anytime in the next 30 to maybe 90 days or so, they're going to need to pull my credit, because they actually pulled my credit back in the fall, because naturally we thought we were closing and it didn't happen. I'm hoping they don't have to, but if they have to, they have to, because usually your credit's only good for 90 days. And then they want to see what's taken place since. So, well, just Martine and I are the ones that need, we're 10. I know I've got some clients looking for rentals in the next couple of days. And typically when I'm doing it for a client, I'm renting out a property, top of every owner's wish list for the kind of credit client they want is that they want their credit pulled, or they want the credit report. I mean, it's very important to not just see the score, but to understand, where am I on the list of getting paid as an owner in terms of rent? Because if they have 5 credit card bills and they have a loan and, the student loan and the car loan, it's likely you're going to be not at the top of the list when, crunch time comes. So really important to understand as an owner, right, what you're taking on. When I'm renting a room, sometimes I say to clients, it's my place. I'm okay. If your score is not that great, as long as you're, committed to paying. But at the same time, I could not do that for an owner. Sorry, Martine, you had something to share?
No.
Okay. So credit is important. It impacts just about everything, as you can see there. Your ability to borrow, buy a home, start a business, get a job. Some jobs require that they look at your credit. Getting insurance, getting a mobile phone, getting a rental. I just hardly anything I can think of that you could do in your adult life that probably doesn't necessarily require your credit as an immediate tool, even if it's just a soft check or understanding. Okay. So sorry, if you can mute yourself. Thank you. And then, good credit, there's so many huge benefits of good credit, from getting lower interest rates. You can negotiate. When you have a good credit score and a good credit history, you have power to negotiate with lenders to get the best rates, the best, terms and conditions. You have access to more financial opportunity. You can shop around. And again, shopping around does not mean allowing them to pull your credit, but you can at least go from one company or lender to the next. Or you can work with, for example, when it's a mortgage, you can work with a mortgage broker who can do the shopping around for you, so that you don't have to have every lender, making their pull on your credit, which we already said at the outset here, impacts your score. So it increases your approval chances. You get, as I've said, better rates on even car and auto insurance, right? It will give you the opportunity to get discounts. You have the ability to get, hired over someone else who may not have as good a score or history. You can pay less for security deposits. And I don't know about you, but I've had to pay some big security deposits when we buy apartment buildings and we're going to get insurance, like property insurance. They often want sizable down payments or deposits. And if you can, use your credit or your previous history with either, utility companies or other lenders who can vouch for your, credit worthiness, you can either waive those waive those deposits or get them discounted, which is huge. Because we're not, it could be huge savings. Sometimes they're asking for 3,000 to 5,000 or more as a deposit to get home insurance and property insurance, because it's often on big buildings. So that's a significant, saving in many cases, because I'd rather keep money in my bank account in my pocket than put it into those of lenders or companies I'm working with. And it improves your chances to get approved for credit cards, any type of loan that you're seeking. And, I started as a young person, going to school, I had to get approval for student loans, it was easy once you got into school to get access to credit cards. I don't know, for some reason, they love giving students credit cards. And I didn't have to show a whole lot to get those credit cards, essentially just being a post-secondary institution student, made you eligible. But as you start your adult life, typically it's not that easy once you're out there in the workforce to just get approval for credit cards, unless, you're talking about department store cards, which why not? They'll approve you because they're going to charge you 35% interest on the amounts that you take out on their cards. Not the best cards to necessarily have balances on. Rochelle, did anyone join us and say anything in the chat? Yeah, let's see what's going on in the chat. Thank you, Adele, for joining us. And yes, we will send you if you ever miss an event and you didn't get the link or the seminar, we try to send that in a replay in your email. But if you didn't get it, I will absolutely provide that. So Rochelle, if you could just document that for me so that I'll be able to follow up. And thank you, Allison, for playing along with us. 10. I'm a 10 because the fiveplex is just one of many things that I'm closing this year that will be pulling on my credit. I know that there will be others coming up. So, and 10 for you as well. Thank you for joining as well and playing along. I agree. There's hardly a time in each year that I don't have to use my credit for something. I'm going to the US in about a week and a half. And even in the US, as I'm doing business and I'm preparing my stuff there, guess where they're going to look to validate who I am as a person? My Canadian credit history. And so my credit, even to be able to, it vouches for me, and I'm able to use it not just here in Canada, but I could use it in the US because I really don't have much of a history there. I've used it in the Dominican Republic and other places that I've done business. So really important that you understand that your credit you build here can be used pretty much anywhere across Canada and the globe. So what makes up your credit score? I asked this the other day on my live, and instantly one of my attendees had said payment history, and I was like, yes, you are so right. Payment history is the biggest, as you can see, area of your score. And so what that means for you and anyone that you know, if you're trying to help them understand improving and sustaining their credit score or bringing it up, tell them that just paying on time. You don't have to pay the full balance. You don't have to pay all of it every month, all the time. Just pay at least the minimum. And where you struggle, which I must admit, I've had some struggles in the last 2 years. It's been tougher with the mortgage rates, the interest rates have all changed. I've had to call, and where I'm struggling, I don't struggle alone. I don't. I reach out to the lenders and I let them know these are tough times. I'm committed to paying you, but they're tough times. So how could we work together? Right? Because I don't want to miss their payments, and I don't want them to report to the bureau that I've missed my payment. So let's work together. So you have to, reach out first and let them know where you stand, and let them know that you're looking for options. And many of them today, if they're not calling you, it's because you haven't, showed any signs and you're in good position. But if they reach out, they will let you know that there are options, because I've had many of the lenders say to me, Andrew, we have options. I work with TD on some of my credit, and they've given me solutions that has made it more attainable for me to stay the course and pay and not get hit on my credit bureaus. So just know that payment history is key. It is the biggest. The next biggest is your credit utilization. Anyone understand what we mean by credit utilization? And feel free to, this is not just for me to speak, free to unmute and speak up. What do we mean by utilization? No? So your credit utilization is the amount of credit. So if you have 2 or 3 cards and it totals, say, 50,000 of total credit, the utilization is how much of that have you used? Have you used 100% of it, 50%? If you keep your use 30% and below, it will keep your score strong and high. As soon as you start exceeding the 30% of that 50,000, then you're going to see your score take a bit of a hit and a beating. That's me. I've had to take a little bit of a hit or a beating because my utilization has been a little higher than it has been in the past. And so what I'll share right now. One way that you could reduce your utilization is you can ask a creditor to increase your limits on your cards or your line of credit, because now if the limit is increased, it means that your utilization will drop because now you have a larger amount. I'm not saying to increase it and use it, because that's not what I'm saying by any means. I'm trying to teach you how to use it well and to help you continually build your score and your history. So you're increasing it for the purpose of reducing the utilization to protect yourself from getting that hit against your score that could substantially, right? So your use of credit. So if you have a $10,000 credit card and you've maxed out, you're way over your 30%. Someone is unmuted and we can hear them. If you could just mute, please. That's, and I'm not saying that you can't do that. Hey, you can do it, but you're going to be like me and you're going to get a big hit. And you're going to figure out over time either to increase that limit or start to pay it down. Okay. The other aspect of the third aspect of your credit that is has a big, not as big, obviously, as payment history and credit utilization is the length of your credit history. And that is key. So the reason why earlier when I mentioned someone with a 700 or 800 score is not getting a loan or not getting financing or approval for credit card is because their length of their credit history may be too small. Or even their credit mix, the next one, is not significant enough. Maybe all they have is one credit card. And people think that one credit card is sufficient. It's not enough to help build your credit history and your mix. So you do need to add, as not to go and get 4 or 5 or 6 different cards that you start to max out, but it's okay to have a MasterCard or a Visa or 2 Visas and 2 MasterCards, or you're with TD and you take a card from them, you're with Scotia and you take a card from them, that's okay. Or a line of credit or a loan. Those things are all good. You could also, I always encourage a young person, especially, I know many adults end up having utility bills to pay, but many young people don't. And adding a utility bill to your credit, because they report to the bureau, or a mobile phone in your name reports to your bureau, that all helps build your credit mix and your credit history. And so then when you have a 700-800 score, you have a way better chance of getting an approval or a loan or a lender to say, oh, yeah, this person is creditworthy. I can see that they're good at paying their cards, paying their utility bills and their mobile phone. And, you know, and sometimes now they're talking about even rental history being reported to the bureau. I mean, even CRA, if you owe the government, you're not paying, it's going to report to the bureau. And so all of these things can help you improve your score and your mix, as long as you're taking care of all of them and you're, you know, prioritizing all lenders and all creditors. So really the mix is all as important as building that history and taking care of the first two, which are, they're significant in terms of numbers. But one thing that I'll share with you is, myself included, I have thought, oh, I'm not really using this card. And I've had the card for 10 years. Well, if I close that account, I lose that whole history. That 10-year history is gone. And then the next lender that's trying to look at me as a credit-worthy individual, and they're seeing my history as empty, I have no long-standing card or creditor, they're not necessarily going to take my application and approve it over the next person who has, you know, multiple cards that they've had for 15, 20 years or 10 plus years. So it's really important that you don't close out those accounts and just keep the card, maybe use it once in a while and pay it, so that you can continue to have that history and that mix that we speak of here. The history and mix are just as important as taking care of the utilization and payment history. And then last, and it's not such a significant part, but it does play a significant role, because the credit inquiries that you have, every inquiry, especially when a hard one, that means that they're pulling, like they're taking you know, an actual pull of your credit report and score. The more you have, the more it decreases your score. So, you know, 3 or 4 inquiries all in a month just to get a new credit card could cost you, you know, 30 to 50 points in decrease in your score. And if you're already, you know, fighting to try and keep that score strong, and I believe a strong score can be something, you know, in the 650 range and up, even 640, you're able to get good lending. But if you're, in the 700s, maybe you can, take the 3, 4 inquiries in a month to shop around and find the right product. But I would protect my credit as much as I protect my bank account and my credit cards and anything else I value. Any questions about your credit score? So how to build your credit. It's as I spoke, I think I've talked about how to build it, but these are exactly the steps, okay? Because I think it's always good to have, do this, do this, do that. And that's what I'm doing here. So step 1, pay your bills on time every time. Okay. If you have to automate them, which is what I do for the most part, because if I don't automate some of them, especially because I have multiple properties, multiple accounts coming at me, I try to do everything pre-authorized. And if you can, and even if I just do pre-authorized minimum, about a year ago, I could do pre-authorized and pay everything in full. I'm not there. A year ago is a long time ago, and my life has changed a lot in the last year. And I'm just being honest and real with everybody, so that don't think that just because Andrea has accomplished this and done this, that I'm, not struggling at times. It's been a little bit of a struggle the last 6 months. So it's really important, though, that I still pay on time, and that's what I do. And when I can't pay on time, I'll tell you, I call that lender, because I don't want it to have an adverse effect on my relationship with them and on my credit. Keep your credit utilization below 30%, really important. That 30%, we saw that it was actually a good chunk. It's 30% of your score. And, think about the days of school. When your exam was 30% of your mark, it could mean a fail or a pass. And that's the same thing here with your credit. We don't want you failing. We want you passing. We want you having that B plus A and greater, so that every creditor wants your business. You can also, to help improve your credit and add to it, having your own cards are great, but if it's a struggle to get them, you can also become an authorized user on someone else's card or on someone else's credit. And I've done that for my own children. When they couldn't get credit cards right away, I just put them on as an authorized user. I've done that even with my business, so that some of my staff that I work with, I may have them as an authorized user on, not just for the purpose of helping them build credit, but for helping them help me manage our business and run things well. So being an authorized user can help you build credit as well. You can also use secure credit cards. Many institutions offer them today, or it's where you're getting a card that you put them on, put money on, so that you can use it, pay as you go, or you can look specifically for credit builder loans that different institutions might offer. And we're going to talk about the different bureaus and the different programs or different apps that you can use to help you build your credit. And so you can see on those apps, many times they'll show you where you can actually get credit without being approved, or you're pre-approved, or where you would likely get approvals. And so, and even if you're taking cards that start with those high interest rates, that's okay. Start there. Just don't take them, use them, and hold balances on them, because 35% interest on cards means if you start to run them up, it's very, very difficult to pay them off, right? And you've seen today how the government has made it so that credit card companies have to be accountable, and they have to show you, if you continue paying the minimum payment, that essentially you will never pay some of those loans off in your lifetime, right? So just be aware that you can build credit right and use a number of ways. But these are the 4 key ways that I think any of you on this call can build credit and start to get more approvals. Now, what's one step of these 4? And you can type it in the chat, or you can speak out loud, that you will take to build credit either this year or in the next 30 to 90 days. Me, I'm going to be trying to get my credit utilization below 30%, because on some of my cards, they're not. Anyone else?
I think I would probably get a secured credit card, because the last time I had that, it was really good.
Awesome. Yeah, I think I think it's a good way to build credit. And as I said, I'm going to share with you some of the apps that you can use to go and see and, sort of learn where you can have access to some of these tools. Yes, Allison said pay bills on time, but some of us are not really sharing. That's okay. I just hope that I want you to get value, and I want to know that you are processing this and you're going to take it away. So let's keep going.
I have a question though.
Yes, go ahead.
Slide back, please.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe I missed it. I wasn't listening, but I want to do number 2 as well. But how do you work out if it's above this 30%?
How do you work it out?
Yeah.
Okay, so earlier I mentioned that, say you have, let's use a simple number like 10,000 limit, and you have used 5,000. That means that you're above your 30% utilization, because 30% of 10,000 is only 3. That's your limit. You're allowed to use about a third of the total amount of credit that you have. Once you're above the third, you've exceeded the utilization, and your score will start to go down. As your utilization increases, your score goes down. Does that make sense? Allison, did that make sense to you? Or?
Yeah, so if I'm slow, so patient with me. If it was 5,000 and I'm only allowed to use 2,000, 3,000 of it.
That's right. At any one time, yes.
Okay, sounds
and
good.
once you go above that, you can use all of it, Allison. I've done it. But it will have an impact on your credit score.
Thank you. That was helpful. Thank you.
Yeah, so what I said to resolve that, Allison, another way to resolve that is, if you're exceeding your 30%, just ask them if they'll be open to doing a credit increase, because then you can now bring your utilization back down. Not increase it to use it, increase it to keep your utilization down and your score.
I think they'll tell me no.
Not true. Many lenders in the last, I would say, early part of last year were more averse to offering and approving, but now they're definitely, in the last part of the year, I saw them more willing to. I even said to TD, you haven't been that friendly to offering me credit like you formally have, so I wasn't willing to apply for something like, oh yeah, no, we've changed, we're more favorable now. And so I said, okay, well, I'll try and I'll proceed, because it means I have to pull my credit bureau and all of that too. And I did, and I was successful. So I was really surprised. They are a little bit more lenient now, and they were willing to play ball and help me reduce some of my interest rates on some of my credit cards to help me get out of the rut. So you just have to talk to them, Allison. Until you call them and speak to them, you don't know.
Okay, I will. Thank you.
Yeah, always. I always call and try. And then if one person says no, I try another person. I try and find someone that will eventually say yes to me. That's who I am. Persistent.
Thank you.
Okay, no problem. Sorry, someone was messaging. I think they're trying to get into the call. So, yeah, so don't allow just anyone to pull your score at any time, because it costs. But these are the 2 main bureaus. There are definitely 3 in Canada. Experian is one as well. It's not that well known, and I've never seen or used it or had anyone pull my report from there. But Equifax and TransUnion are the 2 key players. For many years, I only thought I knew of Equifax, but do be aware, because when I was applying and shopping for a mortgage, I think when I started really realizing that TransUnion played a big role was back in 2016, 2017. And so be aware of both bureaus and pay attention and watch for errors on them, because it was only as I discovered TransUnion was such a big player in the financial approval process that I realized that I even had errors on that report, on that bureau, that I wasn't aware of. So just be aware of them, and the way to best, monitor them is using these 2 free tools, Credit Karma and Borrowwell. and they're both good, and they're free, and they're good for you to have access to at all times, because you can have the app on your phone, or you can just jump into your web online and access and see where you're at in terms of score. Now, for anyone, when is the last time? Who has checked their score in the last year? Just thumbs up if you have. I just checked mine a few days ago. Who's checked it in the last year? Any thumbs up for the last year? Awesome. Thank you. So some of us have. Who knows their score? Keep your thumbs up if you know your score, or put a thumb up if you know your score. I know my score. It's not good, not that great right now. I just dropped below 700. Not happy. But I know it can be pulled up fairly quickly. So it's really important that you are aware of your score, and that you check it regularly, and that you're checking it regularly, not just to know the score, but to check what's on there, and that what's on there matches what you expect to be on there. Like all your personal information is right, your the creditors that you have are all right, as well, because I'll share a story shortly. It's not always correct. But when you find out that, I was trying to send this message, I'm not sure why it's not working. When you find out that something is incorrect, it's really important that you take care of it as quickly as possible. And so it is possible to have inaccuracies, and not just that you've made the errors, that a lender and or the bureau, or that something has been reported to the wrong credit report. So dispute the errors with the bureaus and make sure that you do it properly and follow the process. They have, each bureau, TransUnion and Equifax, has a good. I know, Unique, you're from the US, so that's okay. Your score is still good here. Canada will validate that and use your score. So if you know your score there, that's great. To build score here in Canada, you have to start getting access to lenders or credit cards. And so that's why I recommended that you could use the credit card builders or the credit loans. There's different institutions that will be willing to help you build your credit here. So dispute the errors and fix them with the respective bureaus, and always provide supporting documentation to show why it's inaccurate, or that it's not reflective of you, right? Has anyone other than myself ever found an error on their report, on their bureau? No, let me see if there's any. No? Okay, so no one? That's fine. I have. The first time I discovered one error, it was fairly substantial. I'd never owned a Walmart credit card. It was a Walmart credit card that showed up on my bureau, and I was like, nope, not me. And I was trying to close a mortgage on a property, and the lender wanted me to pay it out, and I was like, absolutely not. And they wanted me to pay it out because it was with collections. And I said, nope, I'm not paying it out. I would prefer if you and I, and what I negotiated and I asked my lawyer to do, was to let them know that I'd be willing to do a sworn affidavit that it's not me, and move forward so that we could close, right? Because it was only coming to my attention shortly before a close. I've also seen that with and by the way, they did accept my proposal to do the sworn affidavit and to show after that the bureau removed it once I got the issue rectified. Which I did because it was not mine. And it's more than once that I've had the issue with a Walmart credit card showing up on my bureau, specifically my TransUnion. So someone out there loves using my name. And I mean, it was $10,000 worth of Walmart. And I'm like, when I shop at Walmart, I can show you, I use my Visa. So I have evidence. I don't use a Walmart Visa or MasterCard or whatever it was. I use my own personal Visa, and I've never really owned a MasterCard. So it was fairly easy. Now, naturally, someone is using my name or has a similar name, which is why I've always kept Peart in my bureau, because Williams is pretty common. Allison, you might have the same issue as myself. So I've always kept my maiden name in there as well, so that on your bureau you can make it clear any aliases that you have, so that it helps protects you a little in terms of identifying and differentiating you from someone else. I've also had that show up with respect to someone using my name for getting a mobile device. It was someone I knew, but still I didn't authorize it. So I disputed it as well. And because again, for some reason, it always came up when I was looking at closing a property. And so the lender did accept that I wouldn't pay it. And I did the sworn affidavit. And I think it took me about maybe a month and a half after to resolve it with Walmart, because Walmart also wanted me to pay it. And I was like, yeah, no, never going to pay it. And they made me sign some 30-page document, because they're, all the different transactions I had to initial off and sign off. I'm like, happy, send it to me. I'll sign off and document, because I've never bought any of those, or I never initiated any of those transactions. And then I sent that all off to Walmart and the collection agency, and they eventually removed it. So it took about a month and a half. So you do have to stand up for yourself, and, don't be bullied into a corner to pay debts that are not yours, just to end up closing the property. I wasn't prepared to walk away from the property because I had a lot of money on the line, but I also wasn't prepared to pay the debt that wasn't mine. So these are, and you can come back to this video, but these are the things that you can do to help you dispute the credit. I do offer a service that we can help you do the actual process, help you get through. Because if your score is low and it's holding you back from getting approvals and stuff like that, we absolutely want to help you and make sure that you get on track. Because improving your score, we can show you how to improve your score in as quick as 6 months. Okay. So I've kind of given a couple examples of how, as we talked, how real scenarios work out, but I've worked with a client who had a low score below 600. And in the 6-month time frame, we could show them how, by simply paying down balances on their current credit. And they didn't have like, a mortgage that they were trying to pay down, and, a car loan. It was just credit card debts and small loans that we were able to pay down, and help them, dispute any errors and fix the issues, so that they can quickly improve their scores, because those things make your score jump by 50 to 70 easily. Also, another area that is really key when we're working with clients is you can't always resolve every issue on your own. Some issues require that you get help and advice. Right? So if you need professional help to resolve any issues, especially when it comes to collection or rebuilding your credit, that's stuff that we can show you how to do. And we've helped. I would say that it's not going to happen in the 6-month time frame. It may take a year to a year and a half to help you resolve scenarios like that. But when it comes to collection, it's really important. You can resolve and improve your situation and get your credit score back up and your report looking really good if you work with that collection agency to resolve it. But if you avoid and neglect, then it becomes really tough, and they will continue to report to your bureau and have that adverse effect of getting that negative. First of all, getting the collections on your bureau is not great, but then getting that score reduced is very hard to come back from easily. So let's continue. So if you're in business, or if you're wanting to build a business in the future, your business credit is just as important. And it's not as easy to just build it as quickly as you might with your personal, because you might have started your adult life and been doing it for several years, and all of a sudden you're looking to get into business. Well, your personal history can help you. Because I have used my personal history to help me build my business history, but they're two separate and distinct, right? So once I started building my business, I started separating my banking and my finances and my credit and kept it all within my business as much as I can, so that it's very separate and distinct. It's even easier for tax reporting. It's easier for, sharing with creditors or lenders your what you're doing within your business, without it having to always pull on your person, right? Your personal banking and or your personal credit. So really important, you can have a business credit card, a line of credit, all in your business name so that it's separate and distinct. And you can see here, I've given you both what it looks like if you're building business credit or personal. With business credit limits, they tend to be a lot higher. You can get, larger limits and larger balances for both your line of credit or your credit card. The offers that you get will often even on the personal side, you can sometimes get bonuses and rewards as well, but definitely many lenders will want to get your business and want not just your personal, but your business credit with them and your business loans and business financing with them. So they're going to be willing to offer you incentives and attractive bonuses to get your business, right? And, you can, as I said, and I have issued cards to employees. Some of my employees happen to be my family as well, so they're fairly trustworthy. And if you've ever watched, building your business and building it with your family is also a good idea to help your young children as they, starting out work, to help pay them first, right? I mean, it makes sense for me to have my kids work in my business as much as I can, or even as little as they can, because sometimes they don't want to do it as much, but as little as they can, because different parts of their lives, they're building their own careers and or they're building their own life through school. But it's a good way to, to hire people that and family. You can also get I do find with business credit that it is more costly, just so that like your banking, for every transaction that you do, there's a cost associated with it. So you do an email transfer, you receive email, you receive certain things into your bank account, and some of those things can also cost. So just be aware of the features that you're taking and negotiate as much as you can to reduce the cost to you as a business. I know that my accountants and the banks and all of them will be like, oh, it's a business expense. Yeah, I know it's a business expense, but it's an expense I don't want to incur, right? I'm still the business in some regards. So for every dollar or 10 that you charge me, it's as much as it's an expense, it means that I get less income to the business. So yes, it's deductible and yes, it's an expense, but you still want to reduce costs. You're still trying to balance your books and bring in more than you pay out. So if you see on the personal side, you typically are getting smaller, lower amounts in terms of credit cards, lesser rewards. Obviously, you don't have a business, so you're not necessarily going to be able to issue cards to employees, but you can do what I said to you earlier. You can have issue cards to family members, right? Or add trustworthy individuals to your cards to help them build credit, okay? So you can have additional cards issued for that purpose, like you would for employees. They're not an employee, but you might help a child or a family member build credit. And I think this is stuff that you can come back. Now, I still want to ask the question. I know you're not always playing along, but what's your biggest challenge with business credit right now if you're a business owner? Or even one that you've heard from a friend? I know initially one of my biggest challenge, one of my businesses, they easily gave me credit card, line of credit, just like that. I didn't even have to ask for it. And then when I started a second business, it was like everyone was silent. No one wanted to give me anything. And I was with the same institution. So I was like, hey, wait, why are you not offering me anything now? And they're like, well, you don't have any history. And I'm like, yeah, and I can't get the history if you don't offer me something. It's a little bit of a catch-22 here. If you don't offer me any loans or credit cards, how do I get the history, right? Someone has to, get the ball rolling for me. So initially, what I had to do was use some of my personal credit, which I have lots of, was I had to gift it to my business. So you can do stuff like that. And so if they're not willing to play ball at the outset, you may have to be creative. And that's one of the things I've learned in business is that I have to be creative or be persistent and ask, right? So as I persisted and asked, they were able to show me how I could use my personal credit, which I had a lot of, to gift to my business. Now, I lose it forever once I gift it to my business, but over time, I can ask for increases with my personal side. Oh,
Hi,
whoops. This was one of my little glitches
Hi,
here.
Andrea.
So these are two experts that I've worked with. And the first one, Dion, is a realtor, and she's going to share her perspective on, what good credit means to her and her clients. And then Andre, who is a business owner, is also going to share with you how important it is to have that the credit as well. So let's begin with Dion. Guys.
Hi, everyone. This is Dion Baptiste, and I'm going to talk to you quickly about credit score. It is so crucial when buying a house, looking for a lease, that your credit score is up to date. You know what's happening. People don't understand when you're going for your mortgage approval, it affects your approval interest rates. It affects how much you can actually purchase for. So, you really need to pay your bills on time. You really need to make sure that you avoid too much inquiries on your credit. And the best way for you to learn about this is the workshop coming up this week, hosted by Andrea. I recommend you attend. Hope to see you there. It's going to be a great workshop on keeping your credit in good standing.
Awesome. So Dion's a realtor, 12 plus years, and she's worked with all sorts of clients. And so she knows from experience how essential that is. And here's Andre, who's also a business owner, has built a fairly substantial HVAC business here locally. And so
Andre here, and I just want to share my experience with credit and personal life as well as business life as well. So I know with personal life, such as getting a home, getting a mortgage, they do ask for your credit score, because the higher the credit, the better the interest rate you can get. Believe it or not, the higher your score, the lower the interest rate you can get. And the higher the score, that really relates to them that you are great at paying off, your bills, your debt on time, and you're good with your finances. And also in the business aspect, it's good to have good credit in business, because what happens is eventually you're going to partner up with some suppliers. You're going to need suppliers at some point. And when you have good credit, suppliers will be more lenient with you. Case in point, instead of billing you up front, they can actually give you equipment. You can take it, do your job, get paid, and then come back and pay them off. They'll trust you because of your good credit. I hope this helps. Take care.
it is so true. I find that even for myself, when I'm finding partners to work with in business, not just like my business, but to partner up in business, do business with, I think that knowing their credit and their history is also a significant part of who I want to partner and do business with, both here locally and internationally, right? Because their profile will have an impact on our ability to do business together and to go to lenders and or other clients in business and build relationships with clients, right? So really key. Is there anyone here planning to buy a home or invest in real estate in the near term? Like I would say, the next 12 months. You can just type it in the chat. Why good credit matters? I think Andre and Dion both pretty much just told us, and we've said it a few times throughout the meeting. It's a definite decision maker for creditors and lenders and banks. They're going to look at your credit and determine what they offer you in terms of how much, what rate you pay, what terms they offer, and even whether they will do business with you again, time and time again. So it's really, really key to understand that there is probably hardly anything, as I said earlier, that you can do in your adult life that you won't require credit for, or in your business, not just personal, but in your business life as well. You definitely will be able to, have access to a lot more, and you can build your wealth and your financial self much faster and better with good credit. Okay, and good credit is just a few months away. If you are in a situation where it needs fixing, you can fix it in, as I said, as quickly as 6 months. What would good credit mean for your future? I know that for me, without good credit, it's really tough to get financing, and really tough to even help secure some of my business financing that I've had to do. So there's hardly anything that I've done in my adult life that didn't require it. And I think it's the same for you, right? So before we wrap, I do have, as I said, we can help you fix credit, that if you have credit that isn't exactly where you want it, especially if you're in, probably like the low sixes or below, and you want to be able to qualify. I would say that 640, 650 and above is pretty good score. And more than likely, it may not be great to you, but more than likely at 650 or so, most lenders will work with you. Now, if you want to be in the 700s and greater, then you have not just most lenders, but you have your choice of lenders that you can make. And so with the Better Credit Bundle, we have 3 sessions that we're able to work with you. For those of you that are here tonight, we're offering it at, rather than the 600, we're offering it for 450. We can help you over a period of, as I said, 6 months, help you get to that better score. We have an initial session for 90 minutes where we work with looking at where you're at and what sort of things you need to do, and sort of setting out a goal and plan for fixing it. And then we have 2 follow-up sessions over the course of the 6 months to help you and see where you're at, right? Because it's not something that we can just spend 2 or 3 weeks and have a resolve. It will take, I would say, a good 6 months to start to see that change in score. And then we are here as well to help you secure lending, so that if you're looking to get approval for a mortgage, we have access to experts and individuals and agents that can help you get that. If you're looking and shopping for a home, as you can see, we have access to agents, real estate agents that are great, that know the industry. And we have people across Canada, so that if you're thinking, hey, Andrea, Ontario is pretty expensive, I'm looking to invest, but I want to invest where it's more affordable. I've invested across Canada into places like Alberta and British Columbia, and you can too, where it's British Columbia, maybe not always the most cost effective, depending on where you are, but absolutely in Alberta, you can get really good access to, purchasing that is well below, say, even 300, right? Depending on what you're looking for. Now, I'm not saying to move out to Alberta, because Alberta is pretty cold. I'm saying if you're looking to invest, right? So we know that fixing your credit equates to, your ability to be able to receive, the financing that you need. Rochelle, I hope that you have. If you haven't already, just drop some of the links in the chat for you. We encourage you to join our Facebook group, where we have regular lives and access to free information. We also will share the link, so that if you're interested in fixing your credit anytime in the next little while, you can. This offer is only available to those of you that have attended this session and or listened to our webinar, which is going to be available to anyone that's interested. So if you know someone that didn't get to come tonight and they're interested in learning more, they can reach out to us, or you can reach out to us and introduce us, and we'll share this webinar with them so that they can have access to it. It is free to anyone that is looking to fix their credit, and we're all about helping people along their journey. Okay. So just keep in mind, the reason this price is amazing, and it wouldn't be the same on my website, is that by attending tonight and being a part of the session, when you buy it, you're not paying the HST, which is a huge savings. You live in Ontario, you know what HST means. And you're also getting the $150 discount. So it's a huge savings of over $200. And I think that I love saving. I love finding ways to save and sharing with you those savings as well. So if you're ready to start improving your credit, let us know. Type in the chat, I'm ready. And especially if you're like me and your 10 was the how important your score is to you this year, and you're needing to apply and or get access to financing, then your credit is vital to those applications. Okay. For anyone that has questions still, please, I know I went over a little, we started a little later. Please stick around. If you have questions, I'm here to answer them. Here's some of the access to, if you need to get to my website, the Facebook group, it should be in the chat, as well as I'm on Instagram, LinkedIn, and YouTube. And on YouTube, we have a lot of free educational videos that helps you, and it's all in financial literacy and education so that you can become savvy and build wealth. Okay. Any questions? And unmute, please unmute and ask questions if you.
I just have a quick question about why does our credit score take a hit when we are doing positive things?
So tell me one positive thing that you're referring to.
Like, say you're getting a mortgage and you're buying a house, and you're trying to, like, I know you're having to get a loan of the money, but it's not like you are owing money for a bill. Like, you're not paying your bills. It's like,
yeah. So your mortgage does not, the mortgage does not reduce your score. It does not cause a hit to your score at all. They report on a regular basis, and typically they're reporting whether you're in good standing or not. If you're not in good standing, then yes, it can have a negative effect on your score. But every month that you pay your mortgage, that's actually a good thing, and it means that it's helping your score, and it's building your history, and it's building your credit mix. So it's actually a positive thing. Now, the reason I thought you were asking was because when banks and institutions check your credit, then that can affect your score. Like as you're shopping and applying for credit, that search that they do or pull that they make, that can have an effect on your score. But that's a one-time. After that, once you've secured the mortgage with them, all the reporting that they should do should all be positive in terms of, they're saying Andrea's paid her credit or her mortgage on time again. She pays it on time, and eventually it'll show that I paid it on time for the last 30 years because I've owned since back in the 90s, right? So that's a good thing. So that's why my score tends to typically be higher than others, even though I'm constantly shopping for mortgage rates and, lending and all of that, because I have a huge history. So does that help?
yes, that does.
Okay. Anyone else with a question? The reports that they make, that's why we're saying to you, get the credit that you need. Go and get that credit card. Go and get that utility bill. Go and have that mobile phone in your name, because all of those things, yes, the initial check may cost you 15 to 20 points, depending on, how many people pull. But the report, once you've established that relationship with that vendor, that company, every month that they report, as long as they're reporting that you're paying on time, it's actually improving your credit score and keeping your credit and building your credit history and mix. Any other questions? That was a great one. Thank you for asking. I know a lot about credit. So you don't have to ask me all tonight. You can ask me another time. And if you want to, everyone has, by virtue of attending my sessions, I offer a free consultation. So you can always book. You can always reach out, check my website. I will offer any opportunity to, spend a few minutes, 15, 20, 30 minutes with you to help you understand any specific area of your finances that you need some guidance on. I'm happy to help you. I would love to see you all successful, and I'd love to hear that you've made gains or improvements by attending one of my sessions. So feel free to reach out to me. Thank you all very much for joining us tonight. And I do hope to hear from some of you maybe in the next week or so, if you're willing to book a free consult, or if you're looking to use the offer that I mentioned, I'm here to help. And I think we will offer to anyone that joins our Facebook group tonight and books the free 15-minute consult and wants to take that offer up for the better credit bundle, we will give you an additional $50 discount. Okay, because as I said, all I want to do is see everyone win and improve their finances. And I know times are not easy right now. I know that. So we're happy to try and work with you and see how we can help you. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Have a great evening. The replay will be ready in about a day or so. I should get it ready for you in the next day by Saturday. If not tomorrow, by Saturday, I'll have it ready to send out. Okay, so it will be in your email. And someone asked for a replay. So if Rochelle, you got that, that's great. I will. If not, please, if I'm good at really following through, usually at sending things, but I may just need a text reminder or an email reminder to let me know what session it is that you missed that you would like. And I'm happy to provide it. Let me see. I think I'll have I think the chat gets saved, so I can go back and look in the chat to see what who requested it. I do have the sessions available on YouTube, but they're visible to individuals that have attended the sessions. They're not all live available for everyone. So let me know if you missed something, need it. I can provide it. Oh, don't forget, 2 key sites that you should go to is Borrowell and Credit Karma. They're both free, and they allow you to not just check and follow your credit bureau and reports and scores, but they also help you build your credit, because they'll show you what types of credit you can easily qualify for, or you will be pre-approved for. Now, just watch the rates and stuff like that, because some of them do have hefty rates if you choose to take them and hold on. Like Fairstone, their gougers, they're probably 35%. So if you're taking anything and you're not paying it off quickly, be aware. Okay. Oh, sorry. I see. So thank you. You're welcome to reach out. I appreciate your time. Thank you for the thumbs up, ladies. Thank you. I have access. Yeah, someone mentioned that they have access to a secured credit card with a minimum $50 upfront deposit. Okay. That can help build credit. So that's an excellent one. So someone who's new to Canada or new starting out and they maybe haven't been approved by a bank, that's good to get. Borrowell and Credit Karma will share with you some of those. And so definitely, and any ones that I learn of, I can help share with you. Thank you for joining, Allison, Julie. Yeah. If I didn't answer your question or if you missed something, as I said, just reach out to me and definitely use the replay. I know, Allison, I would never give Alberta a bad name. Alberta is beautiful. Love it. Just cold. I mean, my nose hairs froze. My whole face was covered and I was still like, oh, but it's so beautiful. I remember Kemba and I going there and I was like, Kemba, you're not moving here. Your home and family is in Ontario, because we just loved it so much. It was so beautiful. And the prices of homes are so much better. So not a chance. I love Alberta. It's beautiful. Just cold. Not something that we haven't experienced here in Ontario, because the last little bit we've had some fairly cold weather. But for anyone looking for great places to live in Canada, any other province is better than Ontario. Ontario is not picturesque. It's not beautiful. It's just filled with, I guess, access to opportunities that people, especially new immigrants, find. But Alberta is beautiful. Yes. Join the Facebook group. And my website is getting rebuilt. So, as you go there, things will change, but it'll give you access to some free stuff. Thank you, everyone, for joining. Good night. And I look forward to seeing you at our next sessions in the future. We have one every month, so please come. Oh, also, for anyone that I forgot, Allison, you should have reminded me, on Monday, the 3rd, this coming 3rd, we have a live in-person session at Studios by PW, which is right here in Brampton. So for anyone that's local, we welcome you to that session. Allison has a group called the Black Women's Collective, and we'll be featuring some of the offers that the education she provides and the strength that she provides for women in business, women looking to build themselves in the community. That's an excellent opportunity to join us. So I should have said that, but you can reach out to me, and I'm going to be sharing that more of that over the next 2 days. In fact, my live will discuss that tomorrow. So hopefully we'll see some of you on Monday. It's live in person, in a rare occasion. Thanks, everyone. Good night.
All right, thanks.
Thank you. Thanks, Martine, for joining. Rochelle, I have to find the recording button.